I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network, where tonight it will be the stars and cars of the iRacing Silver Crown Cup coming to you from the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix Raceway, located in Avondale, Arizona. Track record set by Tony Kanaan back in 2016 in an IndyCar. We will not be touching that or anywhere close to it here tonight, but looking forward to a pretty good race here. Track position is going to be at an absolute premium tonight, which should make for a pretty darn good show. My name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, everybody. We really look forward to bringing this one to you as we'll pick up Derek Love, who is out on the speedway right now for his qualification run. In fact, just about everybody in the field is out on the racetrack right now, with the exception of Thomas Lewandowski, Josh Batista, Ben Carswell, Connor Babel, Robert Reynolds, and Goin Win. There's no way that's a real name. Go on Win. Oh, that's fantastic. We're going to show him at some point tonight. Already a couple of minutes into the qualifying session here as lap number one will go up on the board for D-Love, and it will be quick time, 25.419. Steve Costley going to be second quick, followed by Andrew Hayes and Casey Nemitz. Laps are coming in hot and heavy now across the timing lines. Brandon Buckberger up to position number 2, 25.582 for car number 3 here this evening. Making his way off of turn number 4 over the start-finish line. Lap number 2 for D-Love will be even faster, 25.418 seconds. Let's pick up Brandon Buckberger. See what he's able to do as he finishes his qualification run. His lap time is faster, but not good enough. The AJ Camargo on the racetrack. Oh, buddy, hold on to it. Sideways over the line in car number 16. He's going to be up in the 10th position. Man alive, these guys are getting laps in quickly. James Watson in car number 5 as we've got a new quick time. Top of the board, Thomas Lewandowski, 25.360, 25.36 with a 0. For the pilot of car number 2, lap number 1. Oh, no, lap number 2, excuse me, for James Watson is going to be a 25.842, only good for 12th quick. Lap number 1 for Watson does not score. Pick up the 48 of Ben Carswell, making his way down towards turns 1 and 2. This is the new Phoenix layout with the start-finish line kind of right at the dog leg, right before the dog leg. So now the back straightaway and into turns 3 and 4. Carswell's first lap, good enough for 10th quick. Lap number 2 on the board for Carswell will be 3rd quick. Great lap, Ben, 25.497. A huge lap for Carswell. Josh Batista in the Ream Machine out on the speedway. He has already completed the first of 2 laps for him. First one's going to be good for 20th quick at a 26.136. Off the final corner, lap number 2 for Batista will be quick time, 25.286. 75 thousandths of a second faster than Thomas Lewandowski. That one is huge. Connor Babel looks like he's getting out onto pit lane, as does Go On Win. There is the number 23 in a fantastic retro Apple computer livery. He gets that car to spin out. He's going to head back to pit lane. will also pick up the number 18 of Connor Babel, who's going to make his way out onto the racetrack with 60 seconds remaining in the qualifying session. He's going to have to hustle to get this car up to speed. Now, one of the interesting things about this place is the pit lane. As the Tropicana number 18 makes its way off of turn number 2, there you see pit entrance. And pit lane runs the entire length of the back straightaway. They basically barely reconfigured it. So he'll come down across the line and trip the clock with 30 seconds remaining, so he will have time to get one lap in the books. Robert Reynolds also out on the racetrack. So the final 3 cars that could take time are out on the speedway. And to thank everybody that's tuned in on YouTube tonight. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here on a Monday. Off of turn number 4, the lap time will get in for the number 18 of Babel, and it will be good enough for 13th quick at a 25.704, and that will be it for qualifications here this evening. And quite frankly, a couple of surprises early on in this one. So everybody going to start getting themselves out onto the starting grid for tonight's race, and we'll get ready to show you tonight's starting lineup. On the pole for this one, in the Ream.com, number 20, Mopar Power Machine of the number 6, Josh Batista, lap time of 25.286 seconds. On the outside of the front row will be the Team Watson Racing Setups, number 2 of Thomas Lewandowski. That car clocking in just 74 thousandths back of your pole sitter here this evening. Row number 2 will be the Street Side Classics, number 1 of Derek Love, just a 10th and change back of the quick time here tonight. Ben Carswell with a nice run. Carswell going to be on the outside of row number 2. Row 3 tonight will be the unsponsored number 3 of Brandon Buckberger, lining up alongside the unsponsored number 13 of Todd Taylor. Another really strong run out of some of these cars with a little bit higher I-rating number. Going to be interesting to see how these guys interact up at the front of the field here this evening. Row 4 tonight will be the Spotify number 11 of Joe Gauthier, alongside the Kibu number 9 of Laura Gerhardt in position number 8. Row 5 will see the number 98, the Dracula sponsored Team Watson Racing Setups entry of Vic Aldrich. Happy Halloween, everybody. Lining up alongside of the Amoco Gasoline, number 15 of Steve Costley. Zach Scott Nicky in the National Racing Network ZAS Designs Team Watson Racing Setups, number 12 will be inside of row number 6, alongside of the Team Watson Racing Setups, number 16 of Nieje Camargo from Brazil. Connor Babel in the Tropicana, number 18, will roll off in the 13th position alongside of Jeffrey Stanton. Stanton a long way back in the field here tonight, as is the number 5 of James Watson. Mark Santana will line up to his outside on row number 8. Row 9 tonight will be the 8 of Andrew Hayes alongside the 7 of Casey Nemitz, Zane Jackson, and Steven Protzman on row number 10. Row 11 will be Scott Holder and Robert Reynolds. All alone at the back of the field will be Goin Win, as we are out on the formation line. But you can see Josh Batista doing a nice job of bringing the field down slow. In theory, pace car is in. They can go at absolutely any time in what is easily the longest run to the start-finish line, where the field's under the control of the pole sitter. Green flag out very quickly, though, here as they come off of turn number 4. We are underway here at Phoenix. Oh, buddy. Oh, we got one car bouncing off the wall to the high side. Looks like everybody's going to get cleanly through turns 1 and 2. Slide back in the pack here. Pick up Steve Costley. Is Connor Babel. There is a whole pile of race cars here that have got a 3-wide battle going on. Costley going to be up the middle. Laura Gerhardt looking outside. Half the field heads down there onto the apron. Costley, a little bit of a connection blink there. And that is such a tricky spot. You really got to get the car woed back up to make it through 1 and 2. Batista holding a 10th and a half second lead over Thomas Lewandowski, but we're going to keep our eye on the Hornet's Nest back here. as Costley again bounces it off the outside wall in fourth. New fastest lap of the race belongs to Thomas Lewandowski to 25.619. Jeffrey Stanton looking inside of Laura Gerhardt. Gerhardt going to fall back a little bit further even. She may have clipped the wall through 1 and 2. That car is still very slow to the outside of the racetrack. Going to help everybody start to settle in. Oh, Scott Nicky throws a big block on Jeffrey Stanton. That was huge. Stanton going to be able to get clear by the time they get down to turn number 1. Scott Nicky hangs it up on the outside of the racetrack. Top 7 have separated themselves by 1 second from 8th place on Babel. Tonight's race will be 80 laps in length. We already are working lap number 5. The AJ Camargo, Casey Nemitz, side by side through 1 and 2. Nemitz a little bit cleaner. The exit on the corner looked like Camargo may have bobbled ever so slightly. He is going to be hung up on the outside and will lose the position. And Camargo going to fight right back down to the inside, though. He's going to try the little soft slider into turn 1. Oh, they do make contact. A little bit of right side romance from the AJ Camargo. Gets the job done. The 16 car back up to position number 14. Move up ever so slightly here as Jeffrey Stanton is catching in on the 18 of Connor Babel. That one will be a full-on battle here. By the time they get to turn number 3, Stanton going to look inside. Babel gives up the spot. With, quite frankly, not a lot of fight back there, but it is so early in this race, you really do have to think about tire management and how you want to control this car. Because late in the race, this thing is not going to be fun to drive. Babel throws the slider into 1. Able to hold the spot off at 2. Stanton going to look down the inside. A little bit of damage already on the front of that number 94 Napa Auto Parts Rockwell, North Carolina machine. Now Watson going to have the peak down through the dog leg as well. Kind of feels like that's where you have to get the passing done, is down on the dog leg. It just sets up really nicely into turn number 3. Quite frankly, the deeper you go with a dog leg, the more ground you're going to gain, but you're going to carry a lot of speed as Watson slides high through 1. Babel going to be able to have the look inside. Looks like Watson will be able to be clear. See if he can slam the door into turn 3. Not quite able to. Over the line that time by, it was James Watson, but only by a couple of hundredths of a second. This fight is good. The one back behind it might be even better. This is going to run from Casey Nemitz all the way back to 18th place Andrew Hayes, so 13th through 18th. Jammed up jelly tight down here in the Phoenix sun. Take a look at the weather conditions, and it is a warm fall evening out here in Phoenix. 68 degree ambient temperature, 86 degree drop temp. Not going to be anything too crazy on these guys just yet. We'll see how that develops. Looking back to the front of the field, the top 4 have broken themselves away from 5th place Ben Carswell. Top 4 all separated by about 0.4 of a second as they make their way down the backstretch. Several of these drivers are going to be in championship contention as well. Oh man, D-Love almost able to get up underneath the Lewandowski in the second position. Has to back out of it so he doesn't make any contact through the midpoint of the corner. Entering tonight's race, Derek Love running in third is your points leader, sitting on 1291. Brandon Buckberger falling back to second position in the point standings after last week's race. Thomas Lewandowski runs third, sitting on 1054. So 240 points out of the top spot, but a couple of good SOF finishes, especially when you start factoring in the drop weeks. It could make a big difference. We talked about it during last week's show. 2 splits, iRating, SOF, whatever, of like 4,400. That was a huge points night. Tonight's race, with it only being a single split, 2804 is the iRating. Theoretically, even potentially, oh wait, hold up, caution flag is out. Trouble on the racetrack. And it may be an issue for Casey Nemitz. Take a look at the NRN replay and see what may have happened. Oh, a little bit of a battle with AJ Camargo, a little bit of contact. Oh, Camargo takes a big hit as well. Oh my goodness, Nemitz up over top of Camargo, flying into the turn 3 catch fence. We have got to see this one from the cockpit cam of AJ Camargo. Yeah, that was a race car going up and over top of him. Take a look at it one more time here from the onboard of Casey Nemitz. You see Camargo inside, a little bit of a squeeze. And then a whole lot of sky ground before hitting the catch fence. My goodness, that was huge for Casey Nemitz. So we'll go back to the live look at the front of the field. AJ Camargo is on pit lane. Casey Nemitz had to take the tow, but he is already, it looks like, disconnected and out of this race. Seeing the two of Thomas Lewandowski all the way down against the inside wall. He's trying to cool these tires off as much as he possibly can. Past the old flag stand, and it will be Batista, Lewandowski, Love, Buckberger, and Carswell at the head of the field. We got the first caution flag of the race at lap number 17. And already lights are out on the iRacing safety car. So we're going to go back to green next time by. Here's where the long pit lane really becomes an advantage for the race leader. The initial start, your 2x2, everybody's got to kind of behave themselves a little. Here on the rest of these restarts, Josh Batista can go at any point from when the pace car hits pit lane. There he's down on pit lane. The field is under the control of Josh Batista. He can choose when to fire off. You want to go in the middle of the backstretch and skunk everybody? You're more than welcome to. He's going to do a nice job of keeping them at pace car speed, and he will do so all the way down towards the restart zone. Very slowly brings the field down. Green flag goes back in the air. We're underway once again. Into the overhead look from the NRN drone. Joe Gauthier slides way up towards the outside wall. Almost makes contact with James Watson. Now Watson gonna have to take face aggressive action to get around Scott Nicky. Scott Nicky able to hold on to the position. Gauthier now going to be back challenging Costly. This will be 9th through 12th that we're following along with. You also see Laura Gerhardt back there in position number 13. Move a little bit forward here, pick up Scott Nicky, and even a little bit further forward to Connor Babel. Oh, big hit into the outside wall. Oh my goodness, Jeffrey Stanton flying through the catch fence. Caution is out for the second time here tonight, and that one, well, you just kind of had a feeling that one wasn't going to go well. Here from Jeffrey Stanton's point of view, the 13 squeezes up the racetrack. That's Todd Taylor, and my goodness, Stanton getting caught in the turn 1 catch fence. There it is, all board with Jeffrey Stanton. Oh my goodness. Definitely can't park there, bud. So as we'll go back to the live look here as we are under the caution flag for the second time in this Silver Crown Cup feature race. We talked a little bit about the top 4 in the point standings, top 3 really. Tracy Petter currently sitting in the 4th position. Jeffrey Stanton 5th entering tonight's race. James Watson 6th. Brett Elmore 7th. Josh Batista in the 8th position. And Joe Gauthier in 9th. What's interesting is Tracy Petter and Josh Batista only have 5 weeks counted at this point. Now this is round number 8 of the championship. So this is the final week where all of your results count. After week number, once you get to week 9, you start dropping your lowest points total, your points week out of your 12-week total. What that means is as Tracy Petter, Josh Batista, also Laura Gerhardt in the 12th position in points, as they start adding more weeks in, you're going to see them climb higher up the rankings just because they have all of the available races. So we'll see how this one shakes out here over the rest of the season, but you definitely can't count out Josh Batista, especially if he's going to put victories on the board. Fly the W flag if you're Josh Batista. That's going to go a long way towards claiming a championship. The problem is he just doesn't know where he stands relative to everybody else. There are some drivers and some iRacers that keep very detailed point standing spreadsheets. I am not one of those people. Here we are, lap number 27, and lights are out on the iRacing safety car. We're going to go back to green flag racing next time by. Final races of the season down to the last 4 weeks of 2023 season 4. I don't know where 2023 went, but the end of it is here. Next week it'll be at USA International Speedway, followed by the Kansas Speedway, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval, and then we will close out the season at the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway. 4 completely unique tracks. USAI is going to be interesting. It is a free track, so participation may be up a little bit, Kansas Speedway always puts on an incredible show. There is no better race course than the world's greatest race course. And then we're going to close out the season at the track Too Tough to Tame. It is going to be a great close to the season as the green flag goes back in the air at number 28. 53 remain to go here for the Silver Crowns at Phoenix. Josh Batista able to break away from Thomas Lewandowski ever so slightly. Brandon Buckberger is going to be right there. Ben Carswell doing a nice job holding on in that 5th position as well. He's going to have to contend with Connor Babel and Zach Scott Nicky, though. Oh, it's Lewandowski way up the racetrack. He just flat missed the corner at turn number 1. Going to be able to get past at the exit of the corner, but Lewandowski fights right back into turn 3. Going to be Love at the line that time by with Brandon Buckberger now fighting inside of Lewandowski. He may be able to get that position claimed by the time they get off of turn 2. And again, Lewandowski slides way high up the racetrack through 1 and 2. Handling maybe starting to go away on that race car. Quite frankly, that's not a position you want to be in. And you still have a pile of laps remaining. 50 still to go here. Could very well also be a little bit of tire saving on the part of Thomas Lewandowski, though, as well. These guys want to get up there and fight for it, go ahead. I don't need to be a part of that. At least not yet, anyway. Move a little bit further back in the field. Pick up Steve Costley and Zach Scott Nicky. Joe Gauthier going to be now up underneath the tail tank of Scott Nicky off of turn 2. Babel having a look on Ben Carswell. He wants to get himself up inside the top 5. Not going to be able to do anything there. Really trying to take advantage of that apron. The problem is, I would imagine you're just going to absolutely burn the tires off because your corner entry angle to turn 1 is so shallow. You really have to work the tires hard to get the car woed up and to just make the corner. Carswell trying to fight back inside of Babel. Eric Love having to contend with Brandon Buckberger for position number 2. Buckberger down onto the apron, really drives the car deep. Trying to make up some ground as much as possible here. Is now Lewandowski going to look back to the inside. Buckberger in the pre-race really frustrated with his performances and even just some of the bad luck in these broadcast SOF races. Buckberger having a fantastic season. Sitting second in the points, he has 9 starts, a couple of wins, 7 top 5s. It hasn't been a bad season for Brandon Buckberger. Quite frankly, could be a championship winning season for Buckberger. He just doesn't want to hear it. He wants trophies and checkered flags on Monday nights. Now starting to see Derek Love close up the ground ever so slightly on Josh Batista. The gap sitting at about 0.3 of a second. Approaching the halfway point in this one. Most of the field kind of sitting right about that 0.2 or so mark here. Lewandowski able to clear Buckberger to put himself back up onto the podium. Oh, and we are back under the caution flag for the second time tonight. Possibly some trouble here for Andrew Hayes. Zane Jackson may have gotten a piece of it as well. Take a look at it here on the NRN replay. Hayes down on the inside. I believe that's the 21 of Jackson to the outside. Oh, a little bit of twitch from both. Oh, this is going to be huge. Wow, that was a big hit for Andrew Hayes. May have even grenaded a motor on that one as he just got turned hard into the outside safer barrier. Immediately takes the tow back to pit lane, and his night will be over. So next time by, field will see the cross flags. It'll be halfway home here at the Phoenix Raceway. Brandon Buckberger pulling out a line down to the inside. Well, now pulling out ahead of the pace car. Possibly a mechanical issue here for Brandon Buckberger. Looks like he has the issue sorted out. The lights are still on the iRacing safety car, so we will go one more lap here. Zach Scott Nicky takes a big dive down to the inside. I guess trying to get the NRN colors there on the broadcast. But we should see the lights go out on the iRacing Ford Mustang safety car this next time by the start finish. I don't know if that's the Mustang or if that's the generic. There's a Porsche, there's a Mustang, there's a generic. That looks like the Mustang. They also have the truck as well. With 39 laps to go, should see the lights out on the iRacing safety car this time. We'll see as he makes his way back onto the screen. And those lights are turned out, so we will go back to green next time by. Josh Batista doing a little bit of the tire cooling tricks as well here, getting way down onto the apron of the racetrack. Take a look at the weather conditions. Track temperature has actually gone down slightly since the drop of the green flag. Your hard chargers of the race, Connor Babel, James Watson, both up 8 positions apiece. Stephen Protzman, Robert Reynolds up 6. Mark Santana up 4. They will be top 5 in your standings. The field into turn number 3 again. Batista bringing them all the way down to the restart zone as the green flag goes in the air. We're back underway. Oh, and a great restart for everybody but Josh Batista. Not able to open up a gap. D-Love may have a shot here into turn 3 next time by. Battle slides high up the racetrack. Watson almost into the back of Carswell. Big drive off the corner for Batista allows him to hold on to the race lead. And your top 5 are going to be nose to tail. I'll tell you what, Connor Babel really having a good race here tonight. carrying the number 18, one of the lower rated iRacing drivers in the field. Your numbers are assigned based on your iRating. A 21.57 for Babel as we are under the caution flag once again. Looks like possibly trouble for Mark Jackson. Excuse me, Zane Jackson and Mark Santana possibly going to be involved in that one. Slide back here in the field, pick up the 21 machine. See if we can tell what happened here. Oh, that was big. Oh, it was Laura Gerhardt that was involved in that. Also, Andrew Hayes. And Jackson ends up upside down. Oh, my goodness. Let's wind this back again. First, pick up, see what happened to Laura Gerhardt. Battling with Joe Gauthier. A little bit of a bobble from Gerhardt. Clips the outside wall. Oh, and just absolutely nowhere for Zane Jackson to go. Collects the car. Collects another car, I should say. So now we're going to have several cars out of the race after this one. Laura Gerhardt's on pit lane. Mark Santana, Zane Jackson, Andrew Hayes there as well. Also out of the race, Todd Taylor, Jeffrey Stanton, and Casey Nemitz. So we're going to be down to 16 cars on the racetrack with 35 laps remaining. Also on pit lane, the number 23 of Goin Win. Goin Win, it's not that hard, right? I could not let that joke get away. So we talked a little bit about the upcoming schedule for the Silver Crowns. Let's run you through what we're going to have coming up this week here on the National Racing Network. It's actually a fairly quiet week. Tomorrow night, we will be celebrating the Halloween festivities with our kids, and hope you all get to go out and trick-or-treat and have a little bit of fun yourselves. Wednesday night, it'll be the Sim Racers Club coming to you from Texas Motor Speedway. Our broadcast will kick off at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, round 7 of their 12-round fall championship season. Thursday night, it will be the U.S. Open Wheel C-Class cars, the Indy Pro 2000 Championship, coming to you from the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Interlagos, Brazil. Again, week 8 of 2023, season 4 here on the iRacing platform. And I believe we already have lights out on the pace car. At least that's what it looks like. Yeah, you see the pace car make that big left-hand turn down onto pit lane. And one more time, Josh Batista going to bring the field back to green. Hoping to get a long green flag run in here because these multiple heat cycles on the tires are going to start to make things a little bit sketchy here as we go back to green. And once again, Derek Love just gets a fantastic start. He's going to look inside of Batista for the top spot. Love able to clear off at turn number 2. Oh, but he got a little bit loose. Batista drives back up the outside. Cars Batista's going to have to think about, do I get in line and make the attack somewhere else? Because here comes Thomas Lewandowski. We could have a three-way fight for the lead to one. We do! Oh, there's almost contact with Love. Batista could be 7th by the time this thing is done and over with. He's able to hold the line in front of Derek Love, but Love right back to the inside of the racetrack through 3 and 4. Oh, Lewandowski twitches. Buchberger almost got into the back of him. What a fight here at the front of the field with 30 laps to go. Cars just on the edge of grip as they exit turn 2. You can see the slip angle in those cars as they exit the corner. But Batista now going to be back to 3rd, and here comes Connor Babel having a look inside of the 20. Man, God, Batista has so much speed on corner exit though. Just have to give it all back up as they get to turn 3. So Derek Love, now your race leader. Over Thomas Lewandowski, Brandon Buchberger. Connor Babel to 4th as he's almost got Batista clear. And all the way back through, gosh, I guess 10th place, Joe Gauthier is all lined up here. This may not be the end of the falling back for Batista, but he may get a gap here. Both drivers holding their lines. Babel able to hold the spot at the start-finish line. And Carswell making up a little bit of ground using the dog leg to his advantage. We'll see. There you go. Now Batista's able to slot in line. He's going to fall back to position number 5. Carswell going to have the look inside of Batista. In fact, forces him just the look. Forced Batista to get back up to the high side of the speedway. Babel protects off the inside line, doing a little bit of dragging down the straightaways. We're down to 25 laps to go. Your top 3 remains Love, Lewandowski, Buchberger, separated by about 0.4 of a second. Got Nicky and Costley doing battle back here, along with Joe Gauthier. Slide back, we'll pick up that battle for a moment. Costley able to clear Gauthier. Scott Nicky has the look inside. Wow, that was a big wiggle for Scott Nicky off of 2 that time by. The biggest questions of the night right now, does Connor Babel have anything to catch the top 3? Oh, as Carswell gets into the back of Batista. Nice save by Batista at the midpoint of the corner. Babel has been quick all race long. In fact, towards the front of your hard charger battle. Well, he is the front of your hard charger battle. Robert Reynolds also up 9. There you see the rest of them up on your screen. Go and win! 4th in the hard charger standings. That's fantastic. Top 3 have definitely broken away here from Babel as he's sitting about 1.3 seconds back. But with 20 to go, they are going to get racing. Lewandowski is not going to do any favors to try to help Derek Love at all. And Brandon Buchberger, that's a man on a mission right there. Becomes how soon do these top three start getting really racy? Lewandowski has to try to hold off Buchberger, but if you spend too much time fighting with Buchberger, you could let Derek Love get away, but you're not going to give the position up to him either. Man, Buchberger really had that car hooked up right down on the yellow line, separating the racing surface from the apron. He's able to do just about the same thing through 3 and 4. That number 3 machine is carrying a ton of speed around this racetrack. And the leaders are going to start catching lap traffic as well. Oh, buddy, a little bit of a moment for Lewandowski. First lap car they catch is Jeffrey Stanton. That never happens. You see Jeffrey Stanton going a lap down. The incident early in the race has him well back in the field as Buchberger looks inside of Lewandowski. Able to take advantage of that lap traffic. But you can see it. The gap is already opening up to 0.4 of a second. These guys are going to have to settle in if they want a shot at Derek Love. Now, if you're Buchberger, you don't want to give up too much and, really cook the tires off worse than they are. But this is a chance to try to play catch-up to Derek Love. We'll see how much of the apron he elects to use. A little, not as much as he could have. Gets those tires down below the yellow line in 1 and 2. Kind of use the transition from the flat to the banking of the corner can help steer the car a little bit. And the gap is closing now down to 0.4 of a second, separating Love from Buchberger. Lewandowski having to run high through 1 and 2. Maybe seeing the tires start to fall off there as well as the chase is on. It'll be 12 to go this time by the start-finish line. Can Brandon Buchberger catch up to Derek Love? And this is absolutely a case of catching him is one thing, passing him is something else. The 15 is Steve Costley down onto pit lane. Going to leave us with, gosh, I guess 19 cars left on the racing surface. Jeffrey Stanton will be able to make up a handful of positions if he keeps the car clean, which is why he's staying out there. The gap's now inside of 0.2. Buchberger closing right in on Love for the race lead. Both cars look so smooth down on the inside. Go on board with Brandon Buchberger as he tries to chase down Derek Love for the race win. 9 to go this time by. Both drivers spending a lot of time off the throttle through 1 and 2. Significantly quicker back to the throttle through 3 and 4. As both drivers now going to start to use that apron a little bit more. Buchberger really using that transition to his advantage. He makes up a ton of ground through the 3 and 4 end of the racetrack. And here comes the move into turn 1. Buchberger all 4 tires below the yellow line. Oh, he almost slides up into Love on corner exit. Both cars twitch ever so slightly. This is allowing Thomas Lewandowski to catch back in. But they are eyes forward at this point. Go on board with D-Love. Just carrying huge speed into the corners here too. 165 miles an hour into turn 3. Nearly 170 into 1 and 2. Buchberger is giving that race car everything it's got. When does Brandon Buchberger make the move? We saw it once off of turn number 4. You almost have to time it right where you're carrying enough speed that you're going to be able to make the dive to the apron worth it. Love takes a little bit of that advantage away, though, every time he covers that line. Big speed off the corner for Buchberger. It's going to be less than a car length as they get to turn 3. Popsicle sticks at the start-finish line. Down to 2 to go here at Phoenix Raceway. And we have got a shootout in the desert. Buchberger maybe backs off a little bit at the mid-corner. Tries to set up the run. Carries a bunch of speed off the corner. At the start-finish line, white flag is out, 1 to go here at Phoenix. Buchberger takes the high line to get to 1 and 2. Really sails it off into the corner. If he's going to have a shot, it's going to have to be a huge dive into turn number 3. Into that final set of corners. Checkered flag is in the air, and Derek Love gets the win at Phoenix. Buchberger tried the dive to the inside right at the finish line, but it wasn't going to get the job done. And Derek Love picks up the race win here at Phoenix. What a show from the Silver Crown guys. So as D-Love makes his way around the racetrack, he may actually be going hunting for victory lane here. We'll see. There is a way to get to victory lane here at Phoenix. We'll see if Derek's going to try it, but as he comes back around, let's show you your race results. Love over Buchberger and Lewandowski for the podium. Oh, no, he just decides to yard sail it into the barrels. Little premature attenuation there, Derek. Connor Babel and Ben Carswell complete the top 5. Yep, there he goes. Heading off to victory lane is Derek Love. James Watson, Josh Batista, Zach Scott, Nicky Joe Gauthier, and Vic Aldridge complete the top 10. 11 through 20 tonight in the AJ Camargo, Robert Reynolds, Steven Protzman, Scott Holder go and win back to 15th. He finished on the lead lap. That's awesome. Laura Gerhardt in 16th, Steve Costley 17th, the 13 of Todd Taylor finishing in the 18th position. Andrew Hayes and Jeffrey Stanton back through position number 20. Mark Santana, Zane Jackson, and Casey Nemitz, the first 3 cars that go out of the race here this evening. So let's start our Victory Lane interviews tonight with our third place finisher, Thomas Lewandowski. And Thomas, congratulations on the podium finish tonight. The car looked really good. Talk us through the night and what you saw from your perspective, because it looked like the battle at the front was really tough all night long.
Oh yeah, it was. I screwed up qualifying. I have a really good qualifying setup here, and I just missed a lap. And so if I would have been on pole, it would have probably been a different race. But early on, just it's so hard to pass here. I just couldn't get a run on Josh, and then usually we don't get that many cautions in this series, but tonight we did, which I really set my car for a long run, and that also kind of hurt. But I don't like to make excuses like that. But P3 is still good, and there's a lot of tracks coming up that I really excel at. So
yeah, that's one of the things that I was going to ask about was ordinarily, like you said, you set this car up for long run speed in the Silver Crown Cup. How does the tire cycling and the heat cycling that you guys went through, how does that come into play?
As soon as you get a caution, it basically negates any kind of tire wear. Like I was, I think my best lap was like a 6 something, like a 6.4 or 6.0. And then, caution would come out and I'd be right back down to running almost my fastest lap. Not quite there, but pretty much there. So when you set up for a long run and you get these cautions, it pretty much negates any, the previous laps. So, it was a little difficult that way.
Well, it was a fantastic show that you guys put on for us here tonight. Thank you very much for it. These are always fun to talk about, and congratulations on the podium. Before we let you go here, do all the sponsor plugs and thank you shout outs you want to get in here.
Just gotta say thanks to you guys. You guys do an amazing job broadcasting these, and it's really appreciated. And if any other Silver Crown regular guys are listening, seriously, consider donating to to them because they do a great service for us. And all my friends over at the Draw Team Speak, they always help out a bunch. So that's about it.
Well, that's very kind words from you, sir. We do greatly appreciate the plug there, and hopefully we're talking to you again next week. Now let's bring in Brandon Buckberger, our second place finisher here tonight. And Brandon, it was really interesting watching you race this one because the car looks so good down on that inside line, even able to dip a couple of tires off onto the apron. Was that a big help in getting the car to turn through the corners when you needed that little bit of extra grip?
Yeah, it helped a ton on entry. It helped me kind of drive it in there more, and that's where I was kind of gaining on Derek, but it really didn't matter. I couldn't pass him.
Yeah, that was, we talked about, it's one thing to get to somebody. It's something different entirely to pass them. It's in a place like this. Can you do anything different? I mean, he covered off. It seemed like every time you were going to the apron, he would go down to the apron. You would go low. He would try to go low with you. Is there anything either from a driving perspective that you can do to kind of negate that, or do you just have to try something different?
I just had to try something different. Those yellows didn't help me. It was a long run car, and I just didn't have short run speed. So just needed more laps, I guess. But I mean, I'm happy with second. I'm also frustrated. This is like the 20th second place in a row before a win.
Yes, it seems like we always say that eventually you finish in the top 3 enough, the win is going. It's just going to happen. Keep the chin up, man, because that car has been incredibly fast for you every week. We're looking forward to seeing you parking in Victory Lane here before this season's out. Thank you very much for coming up and spending some time with us here in the interview room. And before we let you go, do any of the sponsor plugs or shout outs you want to get done?
Let's do a friendly bet. If I win, $50 to your charity. If I don't win, you get 50. You have to give $50 to a charity. How about that?
I'll do that. I will do that. Yep. Before the end of this season, $50 courtesy of Brandon Buckberger will be heading off to Driven to Save Lives, because I guarantee you that car will be in Victory Lane before the season's out. I like the wager, Brandon. Thank you much for it. And any other shout outs you want to do or anything? I didn't mean to cut you off there. Okay.
No, all good. Let's I want to talk a little bit more, but yeah, I know you got to interview Derek still, but yeah, if I get a win, I'll throw $50 Driven to Save Networks or Driven to Save Lives here for you.
All right, buddy.
Just kind of it's one of those things, man. Hey, you win and you lose. I'd rather lose these $50 though. I'm so. It's been 2-3 seasons, and I just can't. I'm just so mad at myself right now. I mean, I've had 3 or 4 of these slip away that I just keep thinking about, and it's just every week. It's like, all right, am I going to get it? And I thought tonight I could have gotten it, but I just couldn't get under Derek. But yeah. Well, that's a good bet. So let's do that. I don't really have anybody to thank, really. That thing's sponsorless. I'm running by myself without any help. I mean, I do have to thank James Watson for 2 weeks ago after running like garbage at Michigan. He helped me out some setup stuff and gave me some ideas, which should help me on the big tracks. I know we got a couple coming up, but we'll see what happens here. I know that last time at Indy I had a rocket ship, and I caught Thomas and Derek from 3 seconds back without draft. So maybe then, I don't know, but hopefully I lose these $50 somehow.
Yeah, that sounds good, buddy. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here in the booth for a minute. And now it's time for us to talk to our race winner tonight, Mr. Derek Love, leading 32 laps en route to the victory here tonight. Congratulations. The car looked really good. It seemed like everybody that we've talked to has said the car was set up for long runs, and we just didn't get that tonight. Were you in the same boat?
Yeah, pretty much. I was warming up, doing practice laps, 25 lap runs, and that's what I was kind of anticipation of. But I found that it tapered, it leveled off after 12 or so, 12, 15 laps. So that's kind of what it was, that's what I was practicing. That's what it ended up working as. I felt like that car was fast, though. Brandon was running me down at the end, and I was able to make that high line work a couple times. Just if someone got to my inside, I think it was through 1 and 2. And, man, I don't know. I felt like it was quick off of 4. I was able to get the power down. I was really happy with that car. That was going to be one that I was bummed if I didn't win that, just the way that car felt.
Yeah, and it seemed like you talked about the power down off of turn 4, and that's right before into the dog leg. That really makes a big difference, because if you can get the power down and run the air quotes normal line, you don't really have to worry as much about somebody who's going to try to run the apron every lap and make up the ground with just a shorter distance.
That was my plan. I had it seemed everyone was running down there, so I was like, all right, well, I'll run down there as well. It handled it okay, and then you just, you're running the draft when you're behind everyone. And then when I was out front, you probably saw I tried to move up there a couple times, but you do lose a little bit of speed, unfortunately. I tried to just run that middle almost, where you're down there but not committed completely, because then I don't like to kill my entry into one. And I just felt like going way down there. Man, I went way down there on Josh a couple restarts. we about took the inside pit wall out a couple times. That was fun.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I think it's because you shallow the entry up too much. You just have to back so far out of the throttle. The last question for you here before we get to the sponsor plugs and all, but what was it like having Brandon behind you there, knowing, he is just at this point, he's making bets that he's not going to win a race this season.
He's hungry, and
he wants
I feel the pressure.
I was going to say, how do you handle that? Because the guy wants it. Outright pace, maybe a tick faster, but not much, if at all. How do you deal with that? That can't be an easy thing to put up with.
Yeah, I was worried about it. He did the way he ran me down and caught up to me. I was definitely worried. I had him in watching the mirror a little bit. He was quickest, and I was telling him in the cool down room, he was quickest into one. He was driving that thing into one and making up his time there. I was better everywhere else, I felt. So, my car was kind of it was kind of parking it in the center, and I think that was holding him up a little bit. Just to get my car rotated through the center there and fire off. And the times that he did get to the inside and I was able to hold the outside, well, that built the confidence that even if he got there, I knew worst case, we're just going to have a good race. If he got there, I felt confident still that I'd be able to hold him off just from the previous times, but I knew it'd come down to bumper to bumper across the line if he got to me. But man, that was good racing to him. We're all so close up there in the front that it's really anyone's race.
Yeah, and quite frankly, the points battle is close too. It is 113 markers separating you two at this point. This is going to be a fun one to watch over the last 4 races of the season. Derek, congratulations on picking up win number 5 of the season in the Silver Crown Cup. And before we let you go, do all the sponsor plugs and thank yous you want to get in here.
Yeah, we've had an up and down season. We're either completely in the front or we're wrecking out or kind of, just hoping for a top 5. But, we put in a lot of work on the setup this week. I'm glad it showed and glad for the guys back at the shop. And we'll see you all next week.
All right, brother. Well, thank you much. We appreciate you coming to hang out with us here in the booth for a couple of minutes. And man alive, that was a fun one. I really enjoyed that race tonight. Some crazy battles throughout the field here in the iRacing Silver Crown Cup officials. Oh, catch our breath now. That was a fun show. Gonna have tomorrow night off. We'll be enjoying Halloween. At least I will be enjoying Halloween with my kids. Hopefully you get to enjoy it with those you hold close to you as well. Wednesday night, we will be back for the Sim Racers Club SimSpeedShop.com Premier Series Mint Mortgage Fall Season. They will be racing Texas Motor Speedway coming up 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Wednesday night. Thursday night, the Indy Pro 2000 Championship heads off to Interlagos for their round 8 of the season. With that, it's time for us to get the heck on out of here. Great show tonight. Looking forward to more of it coming up this week. For everybody here at the National Racing Network that makes these shows happen, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for you all coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.